This is the Fiat 124 Spider, and it's the result of a collaboration between the Italian manufacturer and Mazda. And yes, you've guessed it, it's based on the Mazda MX-5. It's got the same platform, but Fiat's keen to stress that it's a different car. It's got a different engine and gearbox to start with. We've invited What Car readers along to tell us if the Fiat 124 Spider will become the two-seater convertible choice for buyers in the UK.
Car buying plan is we have a family Qashqai, a small Yaris as a runaround. My daughter's about to pass her test. She'll get the Yaris, the wife will get the Qashqai. It'd be nice to have a little play car that we can use. I don't really want a second-hand Boxster. I don't really want a second-hand SLK. It's not the image I want, really. I'm Italian, always loved Fiats, Alfas. Alfa Spider's now defunct. If they bought one of those out, that'd be the first on the list. This is a very good second to that. Mazda's nice, bit revvy for my liking. This is a turbo, a bit more relaxed, looks good. At my age, I'm more of a relaxed driver than a hooligan. I think it will be different to the MX-5. As far as I'm concerned, it is a different car. It looks different, it will drive differently. They've explained all the suspension stuff as well. And inside it just looks a bit more, it has a bit more flair, I think. I'm old enough to remember the original 124. So this just reminds me of it. It's the hexagonal shapes at the front and the lights. And quite raked windscreen as well. Just looks good. I would buy one.
The build quality of it feels really solid. You've sort of got that from the sort of close of the door, and certainly the leather and the steering wheel do feel like much more of a luxury car. Something like compared to my Boxster, I'd almost say that it's less plasticky and actually feels more quality than that. I've just put my deposit down on an F-Type, but I've always been sort of a big fan of the two-seater sports cars. So before my Boxster S, I had the Lotus Exige, and then a little bit for my sins I had the TT before that. I think sort of from a looks perspective, the car feels a little confused for me, because at the front it's sort of really manly and sporty and has that sort of old school like rise in the bonnet, which looks sort of reminiscent to a BMW Z4 maybe. Whereas the rear of it looks a little bit mismatched, maybe a little bit awkward in places, I think. My business partner's actually got an MX-5, and I feel like the inside of his MX-5 is a bit like a coal scuttle. It's pretty horrible, it's quite dull, it's just boring and black. Whereas this, the leather seats are great, really comfortable, and I really like the Bose speakers in the back of the headrest. That would be a nice touch on any car. I would say for the money, you know, it's right on market value for sort of what you're getting for the car with that sort of build quality. I think that seems to be a real fair price.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't mind driving that to college or even getting dropped off at college and that. I think it's a super little car. The quality felt really good, yeah. Being easy to drive will help me as well, because obviously once I learn to drive I'll need an easier car, not one that needs driving properly. So I think, yeah, that would appeal to me, and I think it would appeal to a lot of other people as well. It is quite comfy as well. Obviously I sat in it with the roof down and then the roof up, and it was comfy either way. So the roof's quite easy to operate, which is nice, especially when you're driving along or whatever and you need to do it quickly. And the entertainment system is really simple to use as well.
In the next couple of years I will think about replacing my car. It's going to be about 6 years old by then, so I'm thinking, yeah, possibly thinking about whether I could go down to a two-seater. Something like this would be ideal, something like a drive down country lanes on a Sunday at weekends, really cruising, air through my hair, that sort of thing. It's a really comfy car to sit in. You feel really supported when you're in the seats. It's got a nice surround in terms of the way it's all laid out. It's really smart, quite high quality for what is essentially a 20 grand car. And also with the roof up, so in the winter you don't feel claustrophobic, which is really nice as well. So you feel really involved, quite low to the ground, so you could sort of see yourself having fun. I prefer the front end to the back end. I know it's based on the Mazda platform, and I think I prefer the back of the Mazda MX-5, but I think the front of it is really, really smart. I mean, unless you were told it was based on the MX-5, you really wouldn't have any sort of difference, because it's slightly longer, and the differences in terms of the interior might give it away slightly, but the exterior itself is completely different to the MX-5. It's got quite a deep load space, quite a good surround. You're never going to buy one of these cars for a huge practicality anyway, but you could easily get a suitcase in there for a weekend away or your average weekly shop.
So I think we're definitely going to buy one. I've got a large family, so it is purely for selfish reasons. I want to be able to go out on my own, travelling to work and back, something that's comfortable, that's not got kids screaming in the background. That's why. I like Fiats, I've always had Fiats. I've got an Alfa Romeo at the moment, which is not my favourite. I want something for myself. I was expecting the roof to come out of the boot, which it doesn't, so I think that gives a lot more space. And then once it's up, there's the room where it would have been. Yeah, I mean, my husband's quite claustrophobic and he said it was quite airy and he didn't feel claustrophobic at all in it. Closed in, it's quite roomy inside. The curves look good. I just think it's a stylish car. We will be getting one, definitely.